Hello, everyone. Thanks for gathering with me. My most beloved soul brother, Andrew Harvey, joins me in just helping usher this new book, Ordinary Mysticism, into the world. Andrew offered to have this conversation with me, and there's no one else I would rather be with me in this auspicious moment. So thank you, Andrew.
What a beautiful thing to say. And I just want everybody to drink in the fragrance of how she said it. Because this is the way she speaks throughout this absolutely extraordinary book. She speaks tenderly, she speaks lucidly, she doesn't waste a word. She opens with mercy, but as a sword in her backpack, and she's real. And what's so extraordinary about this book, and in all my career, I have never, ever said this about a book, is that it's far more than a great literary event, and it's far more even than a great spiritual event. It is actually a blessing. And I've had the experience of this book as a blessing delivered to us by Mirabai Starr from the mother herself this last week, because I read it last week and was overjoyed by all the things that will overjoy everybody of any sanity. The beauty of its writing, the directness, the frankness. She's a complete woman. She's speaking from the fullness of her sometimes tragic, sometimes profoundly awestruck life. And she's speaking directly, and she's speaking without rage and without fanaticism and without exaggerated ferocity. She's just speaking as the Divine Mother would speak to us. And we have in Mirabai something that is so difficult to say, but I think I would love to try and say it. But before I could say it, I'd like just to share with you the experience I've had of reading this. I read it and was amazed by its elegance and everything that we already know about Mirabai's writing. But I was also in awe at the crystallization of authority in the book. She's not playing around. She's appearing. She's giving the best she has, which is huge. And she's offering it in the most precise and helpful way, because she's leading with celebration and joy, like Kamala Harris, like the Black Madonna would do. But she knows what's going on. And she also knows, and this is how she's helped me so much, is that if you stick to the radiance of the ordinary, if you ground yourself in being a person with all of your shadows and follies and flaws, and realize that there is nothing wrong with that, but that that actually belongs to your divine garden to till and make flower with new kinds of knowledge, then you realize what I've realized is that what I've been reading is a blessing. It's really a new tone by the divine feminine. It's the appearance in a spiritual world equivalent to the appearance of Kamala Harris in the political world. It's the appearance of the fully mature feminine, the fully grounded, the fully radiant, the no nonsense, but very hopeful and joyful and encouraging feminine. And that is something so subversive. That's the other thing I discovered. And what could be better than a subversive blessing? So thank you, my beloved co-conspirator and soul sister, for having done something extremely difficult to do on every level. Thank you for having had the guts to break through the patriarchal transcendent fantasy. Thank you for the guts for not having given up the great inebriating knowledge that comes from those fantasies while completely integrating them with the life of a raw, ordinary woman mystic in the tradition I discovered for myself of Emily Dickinson, of that ornery, quirky, absolutely oneself, but absolutely connected with real life, like Emily was, with that wonderful addiction to concision and pregnant, no BS expression that's soaked in poetry of love and compassion for life and for your friends and for the world. And I want to just say that this is much more than a book, my friends, that you're getting when you get this book. And just think of the title, just start there. If you want how subversive this book is, start there. Ordinary Mysticism. Well, you can look at that and say, that's lovely. How that's interesting. And then your life as sacred ground. You are delivering, it seems to me, and I offer you my undying gratitude. You're offering a healing, divine, feminine, fierce and tender love voice that is absolutely grounded in the gift of the Jewish tradition, the gift of life as completely sacred, but also offering the nada in life to us, the nothing, both as the full voice of the full divine, transcendent and embodied other. And what is so important about this book, and I haven't talked about this to Mirabai, but I would love to just float it by her in our sacred exchange this morning, which is a morning of great joy for me, is that I think I'm discovering in this, whatever way through is, this birthing process, is that the essential thing is not in any more ideas, not in any more dogmas, not in any more projection of the golden shadow onto others so that we don't live out our own ragged divinity. But and that means that it's not about any of that anymore. It's about what Mirabai's book is all about. It's about attuning to this as it manifests itself in our ordinary lives, in our emotions, in our loving of our animals, in our body, in our relationship to this moment. Turning up with our full selves offered in love to this experience. And that is the most transformative vision. That's why it's so subversive. And that's why I'm so absolutely thrilled and honored to not only just celebrate the beauty of this book, its amazing eloquence and elegance, which is such a perfect container for your bombs, but also why it is such, for me, such a wonderful example of a new kind of revolution. You say you're not an insurrectionist, and you're not, but you are a subversive at your heart, because life is subversive and because she is subversive as heaven and as hell. She is the one who unmakes all of our plans and illusions to reveal something we could never imagine, right? And that's what your book comes from. And I am so, oh, I'm in awe of what you have been chosen to give to us, and so grateful that it chose you, she chose you, to be the perfect messenger, because there are four bombs in this, which I'd love to end with and open it for you so you could just speak from your great vision, which is so important now. And you drop these bombs as I've never seen anybody drop them. You know my style, which is, you know my style. It belongs to the old silent cinema, but it was sincere. This is a new style. This is a new way of speaking. And you drop these bombs, and they are huge bombs because they are the explosions of release of the divine feminine love force. And the first bomb you drop is that this dogma that's been sanctified in the patriarchal tradition, that you have to take one path with great seriousness and beware of opening up to those other sources of revelation. You just take it for what it is, which is radioactive BS, because we know it's not true. You know it isn't. I know it isn't. Hundreds of thousands of people know it isn't. And it is something new, and it's happening to all of us in the most amazing way. So let's get over that one. I mean, you say it so much more graciously and beautifully than I do, but that's the bomb. And then you go from there, which is exactly, which made me want to dance naked, but I'm too old for that kind of thing. And you go there and you skewer the guru pretension, and you skewer the fake adoration of the holy, of the truly amazing. And you do it in a way that I've never seen it done, because you don't say these gurus are maniacs, many of them are. You say the system is crazy because we've got this divine knowledge which we can hash out together as friends, as connected lovers of God, right? And then you go from there, you wild, good witch. You go from there and you drop a bomb on the whole selfless service, patriarchal dogma, ceases giving up of the fruits of action stuff, which is noble, but also deeply body denying, deeply life mutilating. And you say, why shouldn't we enjoy? Actually, when we act from our Christ heart, our Buddha heart, and we see the joy that it brings, that joy is meant for us too. Yeah, wow, that is a revolution. Only a very naughty person could have done that, who knows her scriptures backward. And thank you, poverty. And then you go from there, having done all of that, demolish that bullshit with not your, the thing I thought about is that Nancy Pelosi's daughter said that the most amazing quality her mother had is that you wouldn't notice that she decapitated you until you saw your head lying on the floor, because it was done with such razor-like gracious accuracy. And that is the tone that has been blessed on you. It's an amazing tone. It's a new tone. We need to humble up and listen to it, and it tunes us to how we can get through as healthy human divine beings this terrible crisis with our heads held high and our hearts filled with joy and our bodies irrigated by ragged old love. Thank you. That's it, my darling. That's the best that this old broken down piano has to play, but it's offered at your feet. I have been so, so thrilled by this birth that's coming through your voice. And it couldn't have been written by anybody else. I always told you that you have to give the old boy some credit here. But I always said, my God, you have the voice. This is the voice. Because your voice helped me so much in our long friendship. And I realized, oh my God, if people can hear what I'm hearing, they'll be so overjoyed that somebody this grounded and this no BS, but this encouraging is here to give us all the leg up and a real jolt of radical, sober, joyful help the moment that we absolutely needed. That was amazing. So, my Sanskrit is rusty, but I say thank you so much for being such a marvelous friend and teacher, and the beloved of my heart and muse and co-conspirator, and now someone who has brought true blessing into not only my heart, but I know hundreds of thousands of hearts will receive this blessing. It's a bodhisattvic blessing of a very raunchy, funky, real, lovely, celebratory, all embracing, everyone's invited kind. It's universal love speaking from a realized broad. It's great. That's the best thing you could ever have. Someone who's lived a complete life as a realized divine human woman speaking from the hip. I, for one, just say thank you, Mother, for having given me that experience through you. Thank you, darling.
Thank you, Andrew. I'm more or less speechless. So I'm just going to take a
Sorry,
breath.
yet again.
Yeah, again, the holy hush that you bring me to with your pure poetry, the way you speak is, it truly feels like channeling the light and pouring it out, and so I'm basking in it at the same time that I will endeavor to respond.
No, I think I would like to press you on that. And it's something I've always tried to press you on. So this is maybe the one thing that this battered example of whatever I am to Sacred Androgen, I think it's very important this time you receive who you are in the love and the celebration that is poured at your feet. And I think that's part of your teaching. You can be the goddess in Mirabai Starr. I can be Shiva and Narishwar and with Jesus in bits as I am, and also be Andrew Harvey. That's your message.
That's right.
So
That's right.
receive the
That's all of
tribute to
us.
the goddess as well as the tribute to the human. Otherwise, you're not reading your own teaching, which will join me, of course, and then we can talk about that but behind closed doors. Darling, this is a time for tremendous celebration of a revolution that you're helping bring in. And it's her revolution, and you know it is from your intense experience of all of the opposites and all of the collapses and all of the difficulties of life. This is not something you cooked up in a
Right.
lovely study, although sometimes you have the makings of a lovely study. This is something you live viscerally on multiple levels, isn't it?
Right. It definitely comes out of a big compost heap of life. And, I just want to say that you really have been walking with me all along, and especially through this book. Many things that led to this book, I feel were threads that you, Andrew, have woven into my soul. And then specifically right from the beginning, when I had the idea to do this book, when Annie Lamott said you should write this book, and you said yes, you should write this,
Yeah.
and you've been
Annie Lamott, oh, 1,000 kisses to that wild woman. Yes, it was an amazing writer.
so she gave sort of handed me this fully fledged idea, and you said, Mirabai, this is what you've been doing all along, this is a great fit, and I'll be here with you, and you have been every step. So I just want to acknowledge to anyone who's listening that this isn't like Andrew just read this book last week and said, wow, he has been by my side through the whole process. And
You know how it is until I hold that what you've been creating in my hand, I don't begin to glimpse, even through our conversations, the enormity of the crystallization that's happened inside you to be able to produce this book in this way, with this authority at this time.
hmm,
It's it's a growth in my knowledge of you. And I think it will have the same wild and holy effect on the people who read it. I really do. I think if they read it like that, they'll see, my God, this is new. This is a new way. There's a new dawn coming, and it's here.
well, thank you. I love that. And I that's why you are in the book as an exemplar, as a luminous um, example of soul friendship for
Oh, yes.
anyone. So when I write about Andrew in this book, it's not like, haha, I have this great friend and you don't. It's like, you must find your people as I have found mine, sometimes in unlikely packages. But our
Yes.
Anam Kara, our soul friends, are vital for our spiritual journey, because the time of the solitary self improvement project, salvation, liberation, enlightenment, just for me, is over. I mean, and we've all known this for centuries. The Bodhisattva vow and the prayer of the Bodhisattva Shantideva, which you and I, Andrew, share in
Oh,
common, is
yeah.
the most
God,
powerful
I made the
prayer.
mistake of actually taking that prayer as a vow. I regret it. It's so overwhelming.
Whoops,
Just
yes.
thinking about it makes me want to become a hedonist in Casablanca. Terrifying, but wonderful. Yeah.
And I reclaim the Bodhisattva vow in this book as not just being a white knuckled, discipline of foregoing and personal awakening in order to help everyone,
And
dispense our
pleasure.
yes,
And pleasure. What
as
about pleasure?
an honor and a joy. And so we can't do it alone, is my point. We can only do it together. And so we cultivate these soul friendships anywhere we can find them and celebrate them and lean on them as I have leaned on you. So you asked me to read something. Would you like me to do that to end?
Please, let's end with that voice. Then we have something that we're offering that is not the usual interview. This is, I feel we've conveyed something very sacred beyond words to them through this interview. So let them really receive what they're going to receive. Receive her voice, please.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for inviting me to do that. And thank you for this conversation. This soul conversation, may it be something that radiates into the hearts of those of you who are present with us and awaken your own soul friendships and tend them and take refuge in them. So I'm reading from my new book. For those of you who are not sure what's going on here, Ordinary Mysticism, Your Life is Sacred Ground. And I'll read the first few paragraphs. Is that right, Andrew?
Please, darling.
So it's called, this section, I have lots of little short sections, kind of aphoristic. It's called Demystifying Mysticism. Welcome to the temple of your regular life, the garden of your days, the harbor where you catch your breath, the theater of your relationships. This is the terrain where you wake up and transform. The sometimes chaotic, frequently fraught, unexpectedly beautiful domain of the everyday. You do not need to trek to a remote shrine in the Himalayas, enroll in expensive seminars, or convert to a new religion to connect with spirit. Your life is holy ground, and you are a mystic. I know you are, because all it means to be a mystic is to have a direct experience of the sacred. You have had zillions of those. You may be having one right now. Some resonance in your bones that whispers, yes, I belong. I am intertwined with all that is. A mystic is someone who skips over the intermediaries, ordained clergy, prescribed prayers, rigid belief systems, and goes straight to God, meaning someone who experiences the divine as an intimate encounter rather than as an article of faith. A mystical experience may or may not be connected to established spiritual traditions, theological structures, or faith communities. Mysticism is not about concepts. It's about communion with ultimate reality. And ultimate reality is not some faraway prize we claim when we have proved ourselves worthy to perceive it. Ultimate reality blooms at the heart of regular life. It shines through the cracks of our daily struggles and sings from the core of our deepest desire. Thank you, Andrew Harvey, for being with me all along and for the generosity of your words today. It is, you say the book is a blessing, and I'm taking that in. And I want to say that you're coming together with me for these moments and sharing them with my community and yours is a blessing for this book. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Willow, for taking care of us behind the scenes so beautifully.
Thank you, darling. Hear from you soon. I love you.
I love you, Andrew.